Hey folks, wanted to do another comparison video today. This is the New Classic Reference Edition by Crossway. This is the top one is the newer, not the newest, but it's a newer Chinese printing with the Chinese calfskin inliner and the newer spine, and the bottom one is the older. It's the 2011, but it's similar to the U.S. printing with the ABBA domestic calfskin cover. So it's pretty straightforward. The covers are very different, and really, I'm not going to say they're that. Either one of them's bad. The spine on the 2011 with the ABBA calfskin cover, you can see it has more ribs, and you have a smaller font than the newer. You also have the ESVs included above the insignia. The insignia is in the same spot, and the English Standard Version is moved up instead of kind of centered over the Crossway. So you can see there's an extra little blank box here. Because they added this, they had another on the other end of the ESV English Standard Version. So, but you can see that the imprinting is bolder but smaller on the ABBA, while the Chinese is almost thinner but larger. So, anyway, so let's start with this the newer printing. This is the Chinese calfskin. It's a softer, more spongy leather, and it's not really thin like a lot of the top grains that Crossway has used, but it's actually really nice. I like the liner leather is more of a pebble grain, cowhide or calfskin. It's really nice, really well done. One of my favorite Chinese calfskin covers that I've seen. So and as you turn in, it is let me see what the printing is. It might be a 14. Hang on. Or a 15. It is a 2014 printed in China. You can see the New Classic Reference Edition. So, and this text block is you can see the Chinese, the end pages actually are they're not the glossy leatherette. It's more of just kind of a glossy paper than a leatherette end sheet, and that'll come in the comparison. But also the edition is a little bit thinner. It is 1 1/8 inch, or I'm sorry, 1 1/4 inches thick. So it's 1 1/4 inch thick. Okay. And you can see the back liner looks really nice. I love that pebble grain, and the back covers is spongy leather. So, well, when we go to looking at this one's 3 years prior. This is the 2014. This is the 2011. This is the U.S. printing with the ABBA calfskin cover, and the calfskins are just like night and day. The grain and the softness. This one's much softer. I mean, much softer. This one's, you can feel the grain in your hand, and it has a more evident tooling line around the perimeter. Now, I'm not super happy with how this was done, but it is there, where this one, it has a really faint tooling line. You can see it barely around the perimeter, but the ABBA is just a different animal, you know, so. And the liner leather looks to be something similar, yet not quite as pebbly as the 2014. It's probably more similar to the outer. They're probably the same leather. Outer and inner is probably the same leather. So you can see it's edge lined as well. I'll show you the title page and whatnot. And it is 2011 printed in the United States, and there is your New Classic Reference Edition. So, and like I said, this one is a little bit thicker and it's 3 years prior, but it is an inch and 3/8 thick instead of an inch and a quarter. So 1/8 inch thicker on this one. Then this one's a little bit thinner. So, but you can see this ABBA cover is not quite to the standard of previous ABBA covers that I've found and I really love. You can see on the back cover up here on this tooling line, it's kind of a gap where they missed the line. It stops, and it's kind of inconsistent where this tooling line is deep and then it's shallow. You can see where it's almost like they tried to start back right there. Even though this one doesn't have a very prominent tooling line, it's at least consistent. So anyway, just want to compare the two. The covers are so different. It just depends on your preference. If you like the grainy, almost like more of a firm, grainy calfskin, almost kind of feels like almost like a cowhide than a calfskin. This feels more like a traditional calfskin, like a local church Bible publishers. How that it's really buttery soft. This one's not a buttery soft calfskin. It's more of almost like a cowhide feel. It's a firmer feel, not as spongy. And the same goes for the liner. So also the gilding on this 14, now granted it has a couple scratches. I got it on a trade. Actually I purchased this one, sorry. It has a few scratches, but it's much more glossy. And that's, it's probably a matter that it hadn't been used much prior to me getting it. This one, the gilding is still in good condition, but it's definitely not as glossy. It's more worn. It's been used some, but not to the extent where it should be this worn down. But anyway, and that could just be how they decided to spray the gold on and whatnot. So anyway, that's kind of they're very different. So when people are looking for New Classic Reference editions and they specify U.S. printing or China printing, there are a lot of differences. So even though on the box they'll say the same thing, you need to know the year that it's printed and whether it's printed in America or China. Now, the printing itself, and this might be rough for some people to take, I actually prefer the China printing. I prefer the paper better. I really do. The paper in the China printing is smoother, slicker, and it appears to be more opaque than this is the U.S. printing. You can see a good bit of ghosting. And this one is the Chinese printing. You can see some ghosting, but it's not nearly as much. So anyway, I kind of prefer the Chinese printing, and the red letter is more consistent in the Chinese printing, and that's just unfortunate. Like I'll show you this. The red letter here is you can almost see some faintness in this block versus the consistency is a little bit better here, where you can see it seems a little brighter in the Chinese printing. So anyway, and maybe I can find a better one, but anyhow, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's definitely a difference. Let me find the exact page so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the exact page, and you can see the difference between, this is the American printing, and this is the Chinese printing. And I'm sorry, but the Chinese looks better to me. Seems to be less ghosting, and the red's a little bit better, more consistent. So now there are points where the boldness in the U.S. printing is definitely stronger. It's bolder, but then some of those other points it goes away. But anyway, that's just something else to think about. Just know what you're looking for when you're shopping, or when you're getting prepared to buy one. The China printing, the U.S. printing, you can usually find this Bible. They're about the same price, actually, the China and the U.S. The U.S. mint. This one is not mint. It's got a lot of highlighting in it, and I showed you the problem on the cover, the back cover. This one is probably around. You can probably find it for $50, $60, $70. And one that's mint's about $100. Same thing for this one. One with writing is about $50, $60, $70, and the one that's mint is about $100. So just so you're aware of what you're getting into, it's a very popular layout, the New Classic Reference Bible, but that way you kind of know the difference between the U.S. printings and the China printings, and sometimes the China printings are better, and the China covers are better at times. So just be aware of that when you're shopping. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless, and hopefully this was helpful to you.